Yo,
Yo,
how's it
that
going?
was not that was terrible, but that shit was lit though.
Dude, that was a crazy hype set. That's what matters.
Yeah, yeah, that shit
Like,
was fun. Like I saw the up air on the right side,
no, that was
just barely
unreal.
hitting.
Going
Yeah,
for the no dash there and then just drifting in on the up air to try to like
yeah,
get the single hit was insane.
yeah, that shit was OD.
And like, I don't know. Honestly, there's something about like two people who are that good at competing, just like
Hmm.
flubbing and getting that that nervous that I love to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, that shit was crazy. All right,
Okay, cool. So what are we going over today?
we're gonna go over Fox versus Falco. Let's see here. I had some notes I wanted to go over.
Okay, so you sent that the VOD from Knockdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the Falco matchup, I'm having this issue where like how like some Falcons would do like laser in place twice to cover like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right outside where your dash out or short hop or full hop jump is.
Yeah.
They're right outside that range. I've been getting messed up off of that, so I kind of want to know what the not the mix up is per se, but what are my options there so I don't just like keep spamming short hop out, try to keep trying to hit them and pray that they hit get I hit them
Mm-hmm.
versus like just not playing the situation. But yeah,
Okay.
nothing too
Does that
insane.
come up in this game, or is it something more like just like abstract you want to talk about?
It's I think it happens in this game, and I recognize it more recently. I think this match is from like maybe like a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um. Yeah. So you've seen the video I made on the double laser in place, right? Like
uh
I made like a specific video for it.
I am not privy to
Okay,
it.
cool. So this is easy. Basically, one of the main videos on my channel. Let me find it really quick. Oops, one sec. Okay. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. Let's see. I think I have it. What was it? It was fiction double laser. Yeah. So I made this melee. Where is it? There you.
Oh, that one from like okay.
Yeah. So have you seen this video before
I
or?
seen it like a long time ago, but
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So this video is sick just because it breaks down the double laser and it breaks down like all the frames on it and
Hmm.
it breaks down exactly like which options that Fox can do that are kind of like good or bad against it.
Okay.
Um, and like basically the rundown is that you can take the first laser and CC the second laser.
Hmm.
And then like after that second laser, if they tried to shoot like a third laser, you have way more frames after the CC to
Okay.
act.
I see.
So that's like one way to deal with it. You can do sort of something like if you take the first laser and then you dash in shield after the second one, then if he
Hmm.
tries to do like laser into like early down air or something, then you'll get a punish out of that. Um, Depending on the height of lasers that he's shooting, like if you see them shooting them too low, you can take the first laser and then short hop nair over the second one.
Right.
Um, you can also just sort of mix up like a full hop timing, but it's like on the range, it's kind of difficult to do. Most
Yeah.
of the time, the double laser ends up being somewhat of like a stalemate. Like Fox
Hmm.
can't directly push in on it, and so what I like to do against the Falcos who are doing that is you kind of force them to reset if they wanted to keep doing that. Like it's sort of like you're like, okay, like are you gonna come fight me? And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna use these double lasers. And what Fox can do is you can sort of like take the first laser, dash into the second laser, but at a range where like you could dash back if Falco was gonna do a dash in. And
Hmm.
what that does is like that is now an unsustainable range for another double laser.
Right.
So like if he's here and you're here, he can get a double laser, but if he shoots the first one and then you dash into the second one here, if he wanted to reset that range, he would then need to like move backwards out of the laser.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like it's sort of like just playing a dash dance battle with somebody, but instead of him using the dash dance, he's using the lasers where like you want to catch him overcommitting with like a jump in with a laser
Right.
or pressure him to move back with the lasers to get him cornered and then he can no longer move back with the lasers.
Right. I feel it.
That's sort of like the basic breakdown of it. If we see it come up here, we can talk about it, or if you have any like extra thoughts while we're going through it. But I think this video is pretty good at like it sort of breaks it down from more of like this is what Fox can't do.
Right.
But it's still really useful to know like all of the frame data and stuff like that. And if you can get like running power shield on the lasers, that's your best option. So a lot of times like it'll be something like you break from far away and then Fox tries running in, and if Falco can't catch him with the laser quickly enough before Fox gets into the run, then he gets the running power shield, and it kind of like if Fox is able to enter his run animation before the double laser starts, then like the double laser doesn't work at all anyway. So if you can just like get a run from across the stage going so you can get the running power shield, then a lot of times Falco will need to do something like first laser, and he needs to recognize that you're going to do the running power shield and do like laser full hop to sort of like keep his stalemate type thing up. But depending on the position, it might not be like a full stalemate, so it could still be good for you. But that's like when I'm playing around and I'm trying to double laser the Foxes a lot, and the Foxes who are really good against laser, they're always looking for this like running power shield type situation as sort of like a basis of like, well, if I get this, the lasers won't work at all, and then me trying to like prevent them from getting running power shield sort of like influences the neutral and can give Fox a little bit more control. And so it's just sort of playing it as like a using a better method from Fox's end will like make the lasers a little bit more tricky from the Falco end just by going for the running power shield.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Are you down to hop into the game, or did you want to talk more about that, or what are you thinking?
I think that's fine for now. If it pops up, we can talk about it some more. But I think that's a good like for me a good like foundation to build off of. Because like for me like I'm because like I like I was thinking, oh well, if they double laser, of course they're gonna laser like in place again when I'm like that close to them, and like, oh, I'll just hop out or short hop out towards them or full hop out of the situation, I still get hit by that second laser. So to know like, okay, what the like what other nuances that can happen to it, or like what I can like really look out for, it like helps me out.
Okay.
I just gotta get my reps in, you know. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's take a look at this, and I'll just kind of watch for a second and see what I see. Do you feel like you have any like thoughts on this set before I go into it, or like things you?
So for me, I'm like seeing like, I don't know, it's like it's hella abstract and hella like vague, but like for me, I feel like when I'm in certain games, I feel like I'm playing way too passive or too slow to where like I'm start missing punishes and get stuck in movement. And then like just being like, oh shit, like I gotta remember what the game plan is, and now I'm like trying super hard to get back into it when I'm like playing against myself, I guess. Because you know how like you'll like sometimes you'll be playing and then like you're trying to protect yourself for certain things, but like you protect yourself in the wrong way in the wrong situation, you get blown up for it. It's like kind of like what I'm trying to figure out, and like just I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to see is like how can I protect myself without getting blown up for those, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Things, you know?
So this is actually a really common problem against Falco, and even though I know the matchup really well from my end, what'll happen is sometimes if I sort of get thrown off or I'm like kind of just playing really bad or something, I'll end up also going into that mentality. And it's basically that like because Falco is so much slower than Fox, there's this like intuition to kind of like, oh, I'll just sort of space around him, and then he'll kind of make himself vulnerable because of like the speed. It's kind of how you would play against like Peach or something like that. And I think like seeing like the physical speed of Falco's body, that's kind of like the natural path, but the lasers just throw that off completely. And so like all of the instincts of like, oh, he'll short hop in here, so I'll jump over it to space around it, that doesn't work when the Falco gets past like a certain level of skill.
Right.
Like it won't really work like often enough. And so like you want to remove the idea of like I'm going to dodge the laser and Falco's body. Like he shoots the laser and then throws his body, and I dodge the laser and then I dodge his body, and then now he is vulnerable and now I hit him. That is like usually the mentality sort of like approach that causes the issue that you're describing. Especially like even for me when I'm playing, if I go into that mindset accidentally, I'll just get super blown up. Um, and so the general game plan against Falco is really to just hard read. Okay, not hard read. You want to put your intention into like very very specific moments where you're trying to like play some sort of like he's going to put a laser out and you're like, okay, I am going to like use this laser position to literally like outplay him somehow. And
Okay.
so normally this'll reach something like really really precise in like a very small time frame, like maybe you do CC a laser dash JC shine, or you do power shield the laser instant wave dash in shine, or
Mhm.
you crouch under a laser and instant dash up smash. That's one I like a lot. Like I'll short hop in at Falco and do empty hop, and then I'll like kind of like crouch or like use the landing frames to go under a laser and then up
Mhm.
smash. So there's
Okay.
gonna be these like really aggro, like super precise type of mix-ups, and sometimes they're not like that precise, like because sometimes you'll just do like a run and shield or something like that. But the idea is that like most of the time when you're in these interactions with Falco, you don't want to go for like the barely stalemate. Like against most characters, you kind of want to do that like, oh, like I'm just barely out of your range type thing, and to like cause them to whiff or something. With Falco,
Mhm.
it just goes out the window because he's like. You're like, well, I'm barely outside of your range, and he's like, well, that's perfect
That's
range for
cool.
this laser.
Or I just wave dash in, shine you in,
Yeah,
burst.
exactly. And so like you sort of want to focus like if your choice is to disengage against Falco, you want that like essentially like if you decide to dodge a laser, it
Mhm.
should be like a very non-committal defense. So
Okay.
like you want to like move like if you're here and you want to dodge like a laser, like he's lasering to center right here and you are here, the sort of like basic option is like, oh, I will full hop right here over the laser, and then when he down airs here, I will land on him with the drill or whatever. And that's how you
Mhm.
get like the really, really bad Falcos. But the
Right.
good Falcos are like, I'm just gonna like laser in, and then when Fox tries to jump on me, I up tilt or I jump shine and stuff like that. And they'll just get
Mhm.
you for all these because like you're making this sort of like you're making a situation where if they do something bad, you get them. And if they
Mhm.
don't do something bad, you're kind of vulnerable to maybe get read by
Right.
them. And so it just creates a situation that's somewhat winning for Falco, if they're good. And so what you want to do is like, oh, Falco's here. Maybe you could just go to the side plat right here. Then Falco's here. Then Falco retreats. You come down with a laser. He shoots another one. You move a little closer. And you're kind of looking for like the one. Like you're looking for the one laser that is going to be like your mix up laser.
Okay.
And Falco is also looking for the one laser that's going to be your mix-up laser. So like when I'm
Right.
playing a Fox, I'm doing a lot of like move laser, change position, laser, move laser, and I'm looking for like the one where the Fox is like, it's my time, and they run and they up smash or they run and they nair or something like that.
Mhm.
And that's just sort of how it goes, and it's also really strong for the Fox to do that, which is why as the Falco you have to be constantly preparing for them to like make it this laser. And so what you get good at is you get good at being like stalemate, stalemate. This is my laser. Just kidding. Like
They're
you
like
make it
applying pressure
you make
without
it
having.
look like this is the laser that like a really really obvious one is that you're across the stage and Falco shoots a laser and you dash into it and he shoots another one and you dash into it and then he
Mhm.
shoots the third one and you dash back slightly. you know and it's
Right.
like cuz he's like, "Oh, they're going to come in." That would be like the most obvious possible example that I can think of like creating an expectation that like this is the laser I'm going to go all in on, and then it's not the laser you're going all in on. And but you want to make sure you don't really commit while you're doing that. And so normally if you're sort of doing like a fake commit on a laser, you want to do a like a dash dance. People like to like full hop in or like short hop in to like
Right.
fake commit, and then he shoots a laser and you double jump and you're like, okay, like sometimes it's a stalemate, but if he reads you, he can just kill you out of that. And you
Right.
don't have a chance to actually hit him at any point because you're just double jumping to the top plat.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
so that's sort of like the general idea is you kind of want to move around very safely and look for like specific moments. And I think like the kind of most basic reduction of that is what I try to, and I went over a lesson with this. I went over this in a lesson a few days ago with a Marth player. Is that like the way Falco plays the game is jumping. He doesn't do much else. He's either going to jump in place, retreating jump, or approaching jump. And usually, if he does too many approaching aerials, then he just gets full hop no diffed by Fox. Like, he just gets like obliterated. If he just keeps approaching with down airs and stuff, Fox will just dash back and full hop and it's kind of over. So most of the time, if Falco wants to do anything beside laser in place, laser away, or full hop, which is kind of like his basic neutral, he's gonna eventually sort of need some sort of approaching laser. If they're playing it really, really, really safe and they never approaching laser, that's sort of like a different deal because they're just being overly passive and you can eventually punish them for that by just basically pressuring them over and over and over until they crack without really committing. So, like, if they're good enough, they're eventually going to have to, like, choose a moment to, like, mix you up with this approaching laser or whatever. And usually that is, like, I base my ideas of, like, when to go in on the laser around the way I think they're thinking of their approaching lasers.
Okay.
Like, in my mind, when I'm playing a Falco, I'm just like, all right, they're trying to, like, think of an approaching laser. Because, let's say I come in and I'm wrong. And their whole goal is to camp me, and I'm just standing there for the first 30 seconds looking exclusively for approaching laser.
Right.
I'm not in any danger. Like, it wasn't like a dangerous gamble because the only like the read I'm making is that they're gonna bring the fight to me, and if they don't do that, I have time to realize it because they're just running away anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for these approaching lasers, and a lot of times I'm looking for an up smash on them or some sort of like nair out of the laser or something like that. But you only really want to do the up smash when you're kind of confident in it. I also think Falco's not that great at punishing it if he's jumping around. Like, if he does a laser in place and you read an approaching laser with an up smash, the laser will just cancel your up smash and you're good. So there's a lot of spots where you can kind of get away with the up smash. I think the up smash is a good, like, it's a good, like, oh, I guessed right, so I get this big free win with, like, the up smash or something like that.
That dopamine rush comes in.
What was 40.
That? You get that dopamine rush and get your 30 or 40.
Yeah, it just gives you, like, a lot without having to worry about a lot of the complexities of, like, drill, wave shine, tech chasing or something like that, and you already kind of knew what he was going to do. And so I do like the up smash quite a bit, but only when people are playing according to, like, this idea where the up smash is specifically against, like, it's supposed to counter, like, approaching lasers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'm looking for their setups, and so, like, if they haven't shown me good approaching lasers yet, I kind of play it pretty safe at the beginning. Like, I actually go for, like, a couple lasers at the beginning against Falco. Maybe Power Shield his first laser. I kind of see what they're going to try to do. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like I can be really safe at the beginning and just kind of move around like you're doing. And Falco can't do much. So what I see is, and I'm kind of counting these. Like, I'm counting that he did an approaching laser to center and then dashed away out of that. Like, that's just, like, that should kind of stick in your head because, like, I don't know, a lot of times you want to keep track of your opponent's habits in neutral, you know, but I think that people kind of try to keep track of too many things per matchup, and I think it's really important against Falco as Fox is just look at the approaching laser. That's like the thing. And so during this, I would kind of just be playing like this. I like this a lot, but I wouldn't go for this because it's not an all-in. It's not my time because I don't have a read on, like, his laser pattern yet. I think it's fine to play this out. If he's not lasering, you can full hop so much. Like, you can full hop however you want if he's not doing laser setups. So you can just dash dance around him. You can full hop. You can pressure with the platform. You can do all kinds of things. But I don't recommend basically just picking a moment that doesn't have a laser associated with it and running in at Falco is how you get wave dash back shined.
Okay.
That's, like, the only time they hit wave dash back shine is because they're like, oh, look, I'm so vulnerable without my laser, and they're kind of just trying to bait you by, like, not lasering. And you can just, like, the good news about Falco not lasering is you get to set up a run in if he lasers. Like I like the run in because you can potentially get a running power shield, and I think you should look for the run in a lot. But you don't actually want to enter like his interactable range super hard.
Okay.
Because he's just looking for that one shine. And the difficulty of Falco is putting that shine actually on Fox because it's so small. Mm-hmm. But if you like give him a really clear position, then yeah, he can just be like, oh, I was just in place and I shined, or I wave dashed and I shined. And you want to make it way harder, much more work for him to get that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aha. So look, this is perfect. I would be looking and I'd be like, okay, he lasered in place. He lasered in place. Oh, look, approaching laser to center again. And so I would kind of note that. And like the other thing is you don't ever come in with a short hop off the side plat here if Falco is like jumping towards center. Like if he's taking center here, he's just looking for the up tilt. Like, okay. He doesn't have a way to pressure you on the platform at all. Especially if you're doing, like, short hop drills and stuff here occasionally, or full hopping, and just sort of generally playing good defense on the platform, and shielding sometimes and stuff. He doesn't have... Like, his only real option to attack the platform is full hop shine, and it's not all that good against Fox, who's actually playing a lot of neutral. So they're looking here for you to come down in like a way that they really want. What I kind of like to do in these positions is just move around and act like maybe I'll fall on them. Because Falco really doesn't want Fox to fall on him. And so he's trying to prevent you from falling on him at all times. So he's setting up this laser of like, you are not going to run off and you're not going to short hop off. Like he sets up to cover both of these. Usually, I think a really good option here is just to switch platforms. So, like, if I'm here, and, like, either I will do something like, okay, look, either right now you short hop off, like, right at this second, like, right past this laser, or you don't do it. Once you're already here, you don't want to go for it. I think it's really good here to just go up here. You go up here, or you stay here, and you kind of like play these positions, and you look for like a good position to actually play.
Okay.
The other thing to keep in mind is that drill is the best move against Falco. Like, it just is. It's completely broken. Whenever you're losing in this matchup, question, have I been drilling enough? That's like a big thing. And like, the up smash and all that, that's kind of how you play, like, neutral. The down air is how you play, like, every scramble.
Okay.
Like, it's when it's like, unless you're in the scramble and you make a read to, let's say, like, shield or dash away, like, those are, I'm not really counting those. Like, if you're gonna do a move in a scramble, you want to do the drill, like, 90% of the time. Okay. It'll a lot of times, even if Falco does his aerial, you'll be able to like push him down into the ground and get like a shine. He doesn't, especially if you do it and like you fast fall out of it, he's not going to get to the ground in time to shine you most of the time. Like if you're doing short hop drills, you can also, there's like a lot of times where you can get like drill, like Falco's shine out of shield is inconsistent on Fox drill. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you can just be like drill, shine, drill on the shield. Like that's like really good. And you can mix up the drill timing. The drill pokes the back foot of Falco's shield, so you can do something like drill, shine, short hop drill, and then cross up on his shield, and you'll get a poke like really, really often.
Okay.
And it just kind of like it takes advantage of like the jump squat issues. Like your jump squat is faster than his, and like because, like, I don't know, there's just, like, a lot of spots where maybe he crouches, like, CC's the nair or whatever, and this kind of, like, deals with all of it. It's like, if he jumps into it, which is, like, his best option, you still, a lot of times, will be out of the range of his shine, or you can drift back, or you can fast fall and then shine again and drill again. Or he CC's, the drill beats it, or he shield, or, like, yeah, either, like, he shields or he jumps, or he CC's, and the drill either beats or does really well against all of those.
There's some instances. I think you mentioned it earlier. Like sometimes I'll try to drill, and the Falco like will jump into it, and then they'll get their shine off before I can do
Yeah.
something. That's not. Am I messing up on that or on my end, or is it like
So
really?
that happens when you like almost that will basically only happen when you're full hop drilling.
Okay.
And it's because they jump into the drill and like you push them to the ground before you can get there because the drill is hitting like here,
Hmm.
like where my mouse is, and so you have to fall all this way. And if you're just like whipping out short hop fast fall drills, they're not like first of all the drill hits this direction, so like that you're kind of pushing them like away from you. um
Hmm.
it just happens really fast and it's really low to the ground, and his odds of jumping into that drill and shining you are basically zero. Like he can't really get it.
Okay.
But if you do the full hop one, they will jump into it and get it a bunch of times. That does happen. And I think in those spots with the full hop, I think the drill is still really good, but you can mix in the up airs more there, especially
Okay.
past like 2025. The up airs is like really broken.
Okay. It's good to know.
Okay. I think when they do these, it's kind of funny. Like honestly, when they do this, I think going for just literally dash dancing over and over is very very good. Like just basically preventing them from doing, because they just want to get like walk away dash down air if they're dumb, or walk away up tilt or something like that, but they're not shooting. This is kind of, I mentioned this earlier, is like when this happens you just want to dash dance at a range that they feel kind of uncomfortable to laser, but they also can't really hit you with anything else.
Hmm.
And I think you played this pretty well with like the full hop here. Like I like this full hop. Check it out. Check it out. I would have literally murdered them so badly for this, because look, this is the third time they do it. They do this laser, dash back, dash in, approaching laser. I would have just up smashed this like boom, like instantly, because it's like
Okay.
they did the same pattern 3 times. And if this is the only pattern you're really watching out for, it's so easy to catch this.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. In a spot like this, you can actually just short hop drill. Like right here, you can just short hop drill like every time here,
Okay.
and it's fine. Oof. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
that.
did the same thing again.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they they look for that a lot out of center. Um, this is one of those spots where like it kind of gets in our head to like fall on Falco, because Falco wants to prevent that. But it's also like they know that that's what Fox wants. So if they're just kind of sitting there waiting, a lot of times they're looking for you to like fall on them. And because he's not shooting any lasers here, I would not directly engage. What I would do is you can play like a landing mix up still.
Hmm.
Like you can do something like he lands, you dash dance, and just do like 1, 2, 3 short hop drill. Like you can do
Oh.
timing mix ups on it, and I like doing those. Like just sort of wait for the landing, do some sort of timing mix up drill, or timing mix, and I'll mix that up with like come in, timing mix up, dash away, and see if he like takes the bait and tries to do something or whatever. And I like that up air move choice wise, but just not based on the context of like the neutral that was happening. Okay. Yeah, these type of drills are so broken, so broken. Because even if he shielded it, you'll a lot of times poke the back foot here on the cross up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's nasty. Can actually get a little bit more pressure on this. I think like you can hit it with like short hop, fade back air and stuff. Like you could just short hop back air right here and just fade
Okay.
away. He doesn't have a punish for that, and just like kind of work on his shield. I think like back air, like right here, is actually so good. Just like kind of walling back airs and stuff. Falco's at like 93. He has a tough time dealing with that. Oh man, look at this again. He's just only doing this. Boom, and then he approaches to center. Like, he hasn't done a single approaching laser that is not taking center.
Mm-hmm.
And he really likes this, like, retreating laser, dash dance once, approach to center, up air. And those are just, essentially, like, that is the point in this matchup, if you're playing it right, where the quality of the ideas kind of decides the set. Like, a lot of these other positions are like, oh, you're here, I can move here. Oh, you're here, I can move here. Those interactions are like the ones that with the approaching laser or like a Falco like jumping forward are kind of like the make or break interactions for a set. So like if you're in this set and you start reading the Falco doing that approaching jump to center and punishing it, they need to come up with something new, and that's kind of like how you can like keep pushing it. Is
Okay.
that like if they don't come up with something new, you're just gonna keep punishing that same habit to center because like that is their most important zone to play well, and they're doing the same pattern there every time.
I think that laser was like one of those situations I talked about earlier.
What's up?
The if you go back 5 seconds, they did that laser and I try to hop out of it or something, or they caught me.
That one? Yeah.
Uh,
Is that the one you're talking
guess
about?
not. I guess not. I missed.
Okay, no worries.
Let's look at it.
Hmm. A lot of times in these spots, just full hop. Like, full hop immediately is a lot better than sitting there. He can poke you. Okay. A light shield would have been great on a platform. On a side plat. Okay. This is like a good example of like kind of how I would play if I don't have like a good time to approach, and you're playing like let's say like I like this dash dance you're doing, and you take laser here. This is like a good range. Okay, so when you get this mix up, this is like a really common position in the matchup, and it's not bad to like play it out. If Falco wants to do an aerial here, dash up shield beats it. You also have good options to like full hop or kind of dash back to kind of play his approach. Like I think it's a good spot to kind of look for Falco to maybe overcommit, and you do, but you just need to like you're not going to be able to react to what he's doing here. If you make this read to like dash back here, it should just be dash back, dash in, drill like immediately.
Okay.
But it was like a good. I like how you played it. Yeah, so far, and it's hard to like talk about too much because it's kind of abstract. But so far, I definitely mostly see that the issue is that there's too much middle ground that you're like the whole game so far has been spent in the middle ground between approaching and not approaching, and normally that's what you want. But against Falco, it's all like pure defense, full send approach. It needs to be like more binary in general, at least like this level of the matchup. Like you need to get good at the binary parts first. Okay. I like this. That was good. Okay, I like that drill too. Hmm. I'm trying to. I can feel something, but I'm having trouble explaining it. So just give me a minute. Okay, that was good. Nice. Oh, okay.
I don't that edge guard. I don't know what like. Do I just not go for the ledge? Do I just go for the hard like?
There's a couple options here. If you want to be insanely sick, the correct option is short hop back air edge cancel grab ledge.
Right.
Well, I mean, people are doing that these days occasionally, but I also think that I would have definitely. I like this. I like doing the back air just like right here, the short hop back air, because I don't know. I think of it as like, okay, if I go to the ledge here, and honestly, okay, you could make this work either way. If you grab ledge here and ledge dash punish, you get a free punish anyway.
hmm
Um, and so I think like this might be the best option here to do anyway. But I think in this spot, my reflex is I'm gonna go for the back air here because the mid shorten to ledge is frame perfect. So I'm kind of
Okay.
like, oh, you're kind of scared. Like you're probably not gonna go for the frame perfect ledge option.
Yeah,
And if
that's what
they
I'm gonna
do,
put
I'm
on.
just kind of like, oh, okay. I'm impressed. Like, and now they're on ledge, and I just play like a ledge advantage state type of thing.
Mhm. Usually at this percentage, is it? I guess in this interaction, I just rather have them go to ledge and then have them double A's or play off the ledge like that and play that interaction, or is that like,
Um,
probably like the best idea to go for if I'm like not too sure or I'm not confident in like how I should want to edge guard them?
mm, I'm just
Because you know,
edge guarding based on like how I think the Falco feels in that spot, and I feel like the Falco would feel kind of like antsy, and so I'm like, oh, I'll just cover the instant option.
hmm
I think that like there are a bunch of ways to cover it. Like I said, I think the way you covered it, like going to ledge here, was really good. If you just hit your ledge dash after it, looked like you tried and you just messed up the input. Um, so like you can cover it either way, you know. But in general, when edge guarding Falco, I try very hard not to think in coverages. I just think of like what are they going to do, and I cover that, and I make sure he doesn't reversal me. And a lot of times, I think that's good enough. It's way more important to not get reversaled by Falco's recovery than it is to actually edge guard him.
Right, yeah, I feel that.
Oof. I like the up smash too. It's rough. And I guess that's just why drill's so broken. That would have been a good drill spot.
Okay, right there. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. What's the best way to describe it? It's kind of like you wanna say you wanna force high quality ideas from Falco's approaching lasers, and his approaching jumps in general, like I kind of mentioned. Um, but you're kind of like let me think of the best way to describe it. Hmm.
It's like I'm trying to like for me like when I'm playing this interaction, I'm like I'm just praying that I get the interaction that I want, and if it doesn't happen, then I won't say I'm like losing, but like it's just like okay, I'm just playing like two. I'd say two behind. It starts becoming to the point where I have to ramp up super hard to get the clean
Mm-hmm.
hit and get the kill, or I'm just like literally just like playing way too passive and too slow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I feel like I'm being like from like from my experience, like I'll try to be super hyper active to get the crazy clean hits and get like the clean combo off of it versus like scrambling, get the hit, get my damage, and then play a situation off of approaching laser and get like a more pressure or to get the clean hit. It's like okay, now I got my clean hit or whatever I can. Now we're gonna go to full neutral, and now I'm just gonna try and hit you off a clean hit and just blow you up for that. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
what my problem is. Is that like kind of like what you're? getting from this situation, or is it completely off?
No, I think it's just kind of like one layer back. Like it looks like you're maybe like you're not looking for certain ranges with like especially your dash dance and stuff hard
Hmm.
enough. Like you want to look for the range where you're going to bait out the Falco aerial really hard, even though like they're not going to do the aerial. There's
Hmm.
like this range that you need to play at um which is close to the it's basically the range where Falco wants his double laser also, or like very
Okay.
similar to it.
Hmm.
You want to be like slightly closer than that. Just so the double laser is kind of like a little awkward, and the exact range is in that video. But it's basically it's kind of like just avoid the down air range. Um, it's like you're kind of like it's sort of like hmm like let's say like the positions were like all numbered, and you're just
Hmm.
kind of like okay, the next position is looking like 1347. How does position 1347 go? Like, what do they pick there? And you're like, I don't know, because it's like some random position in the game. So I guess I'll just like try to like win the scramble or like slightly mix my timing or something like that.
Hmm.
And it gets you some results, but you're not getting like consistent enough results. The
Hmm.
communication is not like tight enough. It's like um, if you present situations where the Falco knows that they're supposed to make specific choices, or they're like more limited, like if you're like okay position 5 again, then like the Falco has to like think harder on position 5 to like not make bad approaching lasers and stuff like that than
Hmm.
they do for like some kind of weird random range where they just throw out a down air and hope you get hit by it.
Hmm.
It's sort of like creating like situations, similar ranges, kind of over and over again to like reduce the chaos of it. Because I
Okay.
definitely feel this messiness of like, well, we're trying to play mixes and we're trying to space and we're trying to move around, and sometimes Falco just kind of hits us with stuff,
Hmm.
and you need to avoid that feeling by turning it into like Falco hit me because I misread the approaching laser or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so you need to like reduce the amount of ways that Falco can actually hit you. And I think that like that is part of the whole like play stupid safe until there's a moment that you want to play the thing in. Like the moment that you want to actually do a thing in should be like a known moment for both of you. It should
Okay.
be like, oh, this is that spot where if I don't do this or I read this, then Fox gets this on me if he
Hmm.
guesses this. And so you want to like create those like positions that you kind of know and understand so that Falco has to play within them. Because if you are just pressing around and Falco is just lasering randomly and downering randomly and stuff like that, he's kind of just going to get shine into big combo, and you're probably going to get like kind of weird position shine into like how do I tech chase off of this type thing with Fox, and it ends up with Falco just sort of overwhelming off of chaotic shine into free punish.
Right.
So like it feels chaotic in a way where like you could definitely be making it more orderly with the ranges you're playing, like especially like on the ground. So let me like find like a good example or a better example. I see like I'm just not gonna play these against Falco. Like if we're here, like I'm not gonna nair in, I'm not gonna like try to do any of this. I would probably just go to ledge here and ledge dash, or go to the
Hmm.
side plat and like big stalemate it. I don't really like playing out these positions. I like much more, like for example, like right here, Falco goes to the top plat. You can just run to center immediately, be right here. He lands right here. You're now here. He's here. It's kind of awkward for him to immediately like you want this situation. Okay, this is a good way to describe it. You want a situation where you're both on the ground and nothing is happening. Uh, so that you can like when there's a situation where you're both on the ground and nothing is happening, you have inherent threats of like running power shield and stuff like that. Whereas Falco, um, his main problem at those ranges is getting the laser out. He wants to find a way to get the laser out, and it's just sort of the type of position you want. Whereas, like, in these spots, like, if you let Falco hit you by just moving around the platform, then he never has to use the laser, which is the actual hard part of his character. Like, the laser is the part of the character that's really difficult to play neutral with correctly. If they're just sort of like, I'm on the plat, and then I down air, and like they're just trying to win without playing the character, right? Because they want to win, like, easy. It's the equivalent of Marth just, like, trying to, like, shield grab you, basically. And most of the time, if you play the ranges right against laserless Falco, like, if they're just playing completely laserless like this, and they're on the ground, then you're fine, because they'll eventually just land like this. This is perfect. This is perfect, actually. Is like this type of situation, you don't really want to engage in most of the time. Don't want to engage. You're dash dancing. Falco landed. You're both now on the ground. This is like a great situation for, like, things to happen. Either Falco will laser in place and you just get your little dash dance, and you know, maybe he lasers in place and you get an approach, or he lasers in place. There's gonna be like a mix-up here, or there can be like a really cool mix-up here that is going to depend on Falco lasering. If Falco chooses not to laser here, you will just win by nature of, like, having a better, a quicker short hop and stuff like that. So you just dash dance, you bait this out, you get this. I think, in my opinion, a really good option in the spot like this would be, like, you dodge this, run in, and then you full hop right here. And it's so that if he up tilts or back airs again, that he'll miss you.
Okay.
Because most of the time they do that. And it's just like, it's just because you're like, well, it's one of those spots where Falco gives you something that you can almost punish, but you don't react in time. And so it's a spot where a lot of times they'll try to get you for coming in late, and you can just do a full hop there or one more dash dance to kind of catch them out of it. Okay, and then you're just kind of you're collecting freebies, which is good. Okay, good. Yeah, that's really good. I like the corner pressure. Yeah, that whole sequence is good. Like, they're in the corner, highest percent, backers. It's really good. Okay, drill on the platform is broken. Like, these are so good against Falco. Like, landing drill. He has a really hard time shining these, especially if you hold shield afterward. Okay. Aha! So, like, this is what I'm talking about, is, like, in these spots. I think this is good, where you're like, okay, this is the type of position you want to, like, train yourself to be the best at. Basically, it's like, there's these laser grounded type interactions, and that's where, like, the real mix-ups of the matchup are going to be played. The moving around the platforms and stuff is optional, because if one spacey wants to play the platform game and the other just wants to stalemate the platforms over and over, it's kind of difficult to really make a lot of interactions happen. They'll happen eventually, but this is where, like, the meat of the matchup happens. And so you're like, okay, so you're dash dancing. I don't like this shield because it limits your ability to, like, dash. I usually say that if you are... Okay, if you're, like, all the way across Dreamland, maybe you can just shield and it won't really matter. But most of the time, you don't want to shield lasers unless... Like, okay, because it's like, what is the purpose of shielding the laser, you know? All it really does is forces you to wave dash out afterward or full hop, and you can't dash out of it. And so Falco, like, if you're the Falco and you do this laser and the Fox shields, this is like a big win. When you're just looking at this like, oh, yes, thank you. And so sort of the rule is, like, unless you're going to either power shield the laser or you're right next to Falco, you don't want to shield the lasers.
Okay.
You can jump over this. You can and the thing is, you don't even need to, like, dodge them. Like, imagine if this happened, and instead of shielding it, you ran to here and just took the laser, and then did, like, some sort of dash dance mix-up. Like, Falco is in the corner, you created a good position for yourself. So that's kind of the idea, is you get in these grounded spots where you're like, okay, this is like a very neutral range and a very neutral position. Falco wants to get his laser in place. And then you're right about that. You want to, like, either big stalemate, and that's the thing, is this technically is a big stalemate because you're able to shield this and just full hop back to the side plat, but it's not the most effective or threatening way to play the position.
Right.
And you get kind of forced into, like, this type of thing. And when this happens, just go like, boom, okay? Now, just leave. You don't need to fight this out. You can just, like, shore hop to center or go to the top plat or something and play out another one of these interactions again. Good, I like those drills. I'm glad you're doing those drills. It's a big one that people miss. Not that one, because it was on the punish, but... Okay. Just drill here. Just drill, it's always better. Grab ledge, double jump drill. And you can either just, like, loop the drill, or most of the time, what you get is you get the back hit of drill. Mm-hmm. So, like, either they're going to keep wall riding forever and getting drilled, or they kind of go away from the wall a little bit, and then you can just free shine from, like, the back hit of drill. Yeah, I don't even really like playing these spots. So, really quick to go into the laser thing where you're both on the ground thing that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. And I went over this in another lesson like a couple months ago with somebody. It's that what's better than a neutral situation where you're both on the ground at like a solid range to play a mix-up is that if Falco just landed with an aerial and you're also at that range, or he just rolled and you're also at that range. So essentially, the exact range that you wanted to play a good neutral mix-up at, but he has a frame advantage. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same situation, but you just have more frames, is so good. And so a lot of times when like stuff like that happens, you can just sort of play the range where like Falco comes down rather than like trying to hit him out of all this. You can just be like, oh, well, he came down with the down air, and now I get... Yeah, let's see. And this is to avoid that position that I just talked about, where he comes down with the down air and you have a slight advantage in the neutral situation. Mm-hmm. The Falcos will do this. They do the empty land and they wave land back. And that's a big part of why I don't like to go for the direct punishes on the aerials too often. I just play the mix-up on the landing. Because they'll do this sometimes, and if they do this and you played the landing mix-up, you're just in an even better spot now because they're shielding in the corner. This makes sense? All right. Do you have any like questions about what I'm saying or like ways to like connect it better?
No, I think for me, like I know what you're talking with the when you're talking about the basically you're saying on that right side, when I rolled in, you're pretty much saying that the range I kind of want to be at for those interaction is where like I'm in that roll-in range, right? Or am I
not necessarily that you want to be in the roll-in range, but that like after a roll or after a down air, that's like a good time to like create that sort of grounded neutral situation that you want to play out where you're like threatening down airs and like threatening an approach and see what he does. Because you just have like a frame advantage there. Rather than like trying to play like this vertical, like I'm going to hit him for like down airing, like I'm going to dash dance grab his down air, for instance. Or something like that. I think it's a lot of times better to let him land and then play the mix-up right after the landing.
Okay.
That's kind of like the rule I use against Falco.
Yeah, just play more off of like Falco's negative frames.
Yeah, play off of like very subtle negative frames in neutral more so than like trying to punish his direct actions.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
For sure.
Okay, I kind of want to... I feel like I could show something decently in Uncle Punch, so I'm going to try to pull that up really quick. So, like, I would say... Let me think of... I'm trying to think of an example. I feel like I can show a decent situation here. So, let's say... Falco... be doing something like... something like that, maybe. And I'm kind of like... and I'll do this, and I'll kind of like let him like... so look, he's doing this. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to approach. And he's like, no, you're not. And then I'm going to do this. And I'm kind of looking for like those types of things. Where like he's doing this, and he's approaching, and I'm kind of looking for it. And then maybe maybe on this approach, you get like a read on the approaching laser. It's hard to do it against my own inputs. But maybe I will get like an up smash there, where I'm like, okay, he's kind of doing that, and I'll look for an up smash in that spot. If I'm a little late there, maybe I'll like lose the spot. But a lot of times the neutral is like this, where I'm looking for the moment that he's going to approaching laser. And so I'm kind of like, oh, he likes the one. Like, he's kind of doing, like, laser, laser, approaching laser, retreat, like, laser, approaching laser. This is, like, the type of mix-up that's going to be happening, and you want to, like, capitalize on with, like, a quick read. So I'm just, like, chilling. He can't hit me. Boom. And then you just zero death off of that. And that'll be, like, really, really common in, like, ways that you kind of play the matchup. Because during this, you could be going for, like, these types of things. Like, you're looking for drills. You could also be getting like these types of things, and so Falco has to kind of deal with that, and he's like looking, and you're looking for the moment that he thinks like, oh, like Fox is just doing this, like Fox is just dash dancing, so like clearly I need to like go in, because otherwise he's getting pressured, and if you guess right on it, you get the big opening. And the idea is that like you're trying to turn the game into essentially like one tap kill type of things against Falco with those. And so rather than like kind of like playing out a lot of like I'm trying to hit you out of these, or maybe like a lot of people do stuff like this, or like this, and like all of those are kind of not that good. There's a lot more of like, okay, boom, oh, I messed that up. But I'll do a lot of stuff where I kind of do something like this where I'm waiting and then kind of cross up to be like, oh, if he approaching laser or did a laser in place, like I'm safe. So I'm not explaining it perfectly, but sometimes I'll sort of do these like disengage movements, either forwards or backwards, and that's kind of like just sort of keeping yourself safe during neutral type thing.
Yeah.
And so those are counted as like disengage. So I'm like, oh, disengage, big disengage, big disengage, and then I just find my moment of like boom, and then it's time to like zero death him.
Right.
Okay. That's just sort of like an example, and there's a lot of times where you might end up doing this, where you're like trying to wait, and he gets this approaching laser, and you're just like, whatever. Like, as long as you don't panic here, and if he gets like this approaching laser, a lot of times you can just do something like that, or you can do like, oh, he got this approaching laser, but I moved out, and then we just keep playing.
Right.
And you're just
like,
sort of...
you take the 8%, 10%, but like once I get my opening, like it's over.
It's over anyway, exactly. And so you just don't really need to worry about it. You just need to worry about like, when is he trying to get in on me? Like, when is he approaching? And like a lot of times you moving forward or past Falco, that's like another thing to really kind of keep in mind, is that part of the big disengage is that you both overshoot. That happens a lot in this matchup. Yeah. Where like you full hop way past Falco as he approaching lasers, and then you both just kind of miss each other. And so if you think he might approaching laser, but you're a little bit unsure, you can go for those full hops, and then like, you know, double jump away stalemate. Like, it's kind of good in those spots, because you're not using it to try to like punish Falco doing a bad jump. You're trying to like check if he's doing a good jump. And if he's not, you just kind of get out of the way. Or sorry, if he's not doing the one you want, you can kind of get out of the way, because like you're jumping past him, the laser will be going like past you.
And even then, just to like build upon that, now that I'm like in that space where like I don't land on him, now we're a lot closer, right? Now I can. Now I'm probably
so you dash in immediately after that, where you fly past each other, then you dash in, he's forced to shoot another laser. The same situation is repeating, except now he's in the corner, and you get a little bit more pressure, and you can kind of just pick your moment. Like, when is Falco going to try to get out of the corner, you know?
Right.
And if you're doing like full hops and stuff at a good frequency, like defensive type full hops, what I should say is that like the more Falco kind of tends towards like being dumb and throwing out a lot of aerials, you can tend more towards like dash dance drill and full hop drill kind of punishes. And then the more he tends towards trying to win the situation with the laser, you want to tend more towards like big stalemate, and I'm looking for my one laser, because it's kind of like a hot hands type of thing. If you ever played that game, you try to slap the other person's hand, where it's like the scariest person in that game, and also the most annoying, is the person who like They're just
pretends that they're gonna do the thing and
they
not really
just
do it,
sit
and now
there
you're
for
just
like
chilling.
5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, I'll slap, I'll
Oh,
slap, all
am I?
right."
And then they do the legal one where they hit the two hands with the one. Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that like if Falco shoots one laser and you try to slap him off of that one laser, then like he's gonna be pretty ready for an interaction to happen. But
Right.
if you're moving around and he's shot you with like 6 lasers and done like 14 damage, he doesn't know. He's like, clearly giving this guy laser damage doesn't like force him to hit me. And I'm only doing like the lasers get stale really fast. They do like 1 damage. And so he's like, they don't do like a consistent 3 every time or something, you know, like it gets pretty low. And so like if you're just taking a bunch of lasers, the lasers are doing like 1 damage, and Falco can't really hit you, and you're like, hey, am I gonna like full send it on laser 16 or laser 17? And I'm not saying all 16 of those lasers hit you. Maybe you dodged a bunch, you shielded a couple, you power shielded one, he hits you with 3 or 4. He just doesn't know, and it ends up feeling like with Falco that you're just jumping around the stage doing 1 damage over and over, and Fox is just patiently like, where's the kill? Like, I'm gonna go for the throat. And that's like the feeling you want to give the Falco, is that like the lasers aren't like bothering you. You're down to get lasered because what
I know that
matters
if
is,
I touch you, it's over. Like,
yeah, I touch you, it's
yeah.
over. And then also that like you are like, you're like the, like I was saying before, the laser is the difficult part of his character. So if you force him to constantly shoot lasers and like change up laser heights and change up laser mix-ups, the
Just stack it on
odds
top of them.
the
Yeah.
odds of them eventually doing like a really bad approaching laser or something that you can read gets higher and higher, because you're just constantly creating spots where they have to make like, here's this range where like it's kind of awkward to do a laser in place, but you're kind of in the corner, so you can't really like retreating laser, so like what are you gonna do there, you know? And you can start to like see their habits. Meanwhile, that entire time you're in very little danger, like at all.
Yeah. It's like I'm like it's basically I'm stacking it, stacking everything on top on their part to where it's like, oh, like I don't know, I don't really know what this Fox is doing, so now I'm like hyper focused on what I'm doing as a Falco, pretty much.
Yeah, like the foxes who like, let's say I'm playing on Dreamland, and the foxes who like every single time they just dash in, take a laser, and then dash all the way back across the stage. I'm kind of like, when do we get to
Oh,
play? You know? And
the
I
social
think that like,
contract was like,
hmm?
he said the social contract isn't being
Yeah,
social, isn't social enough.
yeah, that's funny. Um, yeah, so it's essentially that's kind of the play. Is like you want to make the lasers feel kind of worthless to hit you, because you're not just gonna fight on any laser. You're
Hmm.
looking for the one laser where they're vulnerable. And as the Falco, they're like, they don't know which one that is. They're just trying to make sure every laser is perfect, and you're trying to move around, make the ranges of the lasers a little awkward, so they can't be 100% certain that any laser is gonna be the perfect laser. And so they never know when you're gonna full send it and look for your big combo, and you're just sort of constantly looking like, oh, they do a down air, and you're like, that's cool. I don't even need to punish it. I'm gonna play the advantage on the state right afterward. And then they're like, oh, I need to do a perfect laser to maybe defend against that advantage state, and then maybe you read that one, you know?
Hmm.
And that's
That
kind of
makes
like
sense.
the general sort of flow of the neutral you want to be looking for more.
Okay. Okay. Sounds easy enough.
Yeah, it sounds easy in practice. It's definitely very difficult, because like Falco like preys so much on like Fox messing up like the tech skill and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, and I think the good news is that if you just keep playing around and forcing the laser a lot, it does like even the tech skill back a little bit. Like maybe they try to do a dash back in place laser, and they do a retreating laser and like fly all the way across the stage, or like laser off the stage on like Yoshi's. That happens all the time. You
Hmm.
try, and so like I think you can kind of like even up the tech skill or the tech skill issues where they're trying
Hmm.
to like prey on like your mistakes. You can kind of, you know, turn the tables on them if you play in the
Instead of
right
like,
way.
it's instead of like going for like super technical stuff, it's more like more precision tech skill that
It's all,
I'm.
yeah, no, beating Falco is all like precision. Like I think Jmook is really good at this against Falco, where he just kind of like wanders around and does random moves, and then the one laser where you're kind of in the scramble range, he just does like, oh, frame perfect CC forward tilt on that laser in particular.
Hmm.
And I think that's like a good way to like kind of think of Falco, is that like there's these specific moments of like laser interactions and very precise ranges where everything kind of comes to like a head, and you just want to be really good at winning those, and then also mix up when you're even gonna take them, and he doesn't really know like when he's gonna have to play this very precise interaction with a fox who's also knowledgeable about it.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of good homework to do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so if I understand a lot of this was kind of abstract, if you get like a clip or something of like a
Hmm.
situation and you're like, am I doing the thing we talked about right or something, feel free to send it to me.
Hmm.
I can give you feedback on that.
For sure, for sure. Thank you,
And
sir.
okay, well, good luck in this matchup. Do you have any other like final questions or thoughts or anything you wanted to share?
I think like the abstract stuff that you told me, like I think I just gotta I probably have to look at the VOD and write them back down. So like I kind of have like a philosophy on how I want to like execute neutral and making sure that I'm displaying those type of things, and then maybe who know like maybe like next time I come and do a session or whatever, I'll just say, hey, did I graduate from from the things that we talked about? Did I do I show like a level of the competence
Mm-hmm. Competence.
in
Yeah,
those,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, those 3 or 4 things, and then just go
Mm-hmm.
from there.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Cool, man. Sounds good. We'll
Appreciate it.
talk again soon. Set something up. Figure something out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.